Hello everyone, this is Verde, and it's been a while since we were playing Role of Hex. I will actually restart here because ouch. Yeah, that happens. You know, it deletes all of our data. It seems, including whatever you click the patch notes or not. But anyway, yeah, it's been a while since I played it or did anything to it, really. So let's go for it, shall we? I do have planned to update this game eventually. Okay, I gotta remember the controls. So, yeah, let's place a turret there. Anyway, I wanted to play Role of Hex because I wanted to have a game that could mostly go in the background while I can talk to you guys. Because, well, Magicraft is not a game that allows us to think, really. You know. Oh god. So yeah, there we go. Let's get some points per second. What do I know? Anyway, yeah. Role of Hex is a game that allows me to think, which is nice, you know, a calm game. Like, well, not calm games. Actually, Magicraft is rather calm too, but the thing about Magicraft is that you have to think about the combinations, you know? And that very much complicates things a little bit. At least it didn't reset the tutorial, I think. That's a good thing. The departments of saving. You know? Let's get... I like machine learning, but honestly, this run will not last all that long. You know, it is just, we could increase game speed, but let's keep going on this one for a second. Right now, I am working on a new game. I do not have determined what it will be called. But today we got a few elements of its UI done, and funnily enough, the UI is like most of the game because it will be a very... how can I describe it, you know? It will be a very much an incremental game in a sense. So most of it you will play through the UI, you know? And honestly, the UI is not as good as Role of Hex, but it is hard. You know, I am not an UI designer, nor a UX designer, nor anything designer, really. So, yeah, perhaps a game designer, I don't know. I don't know about that. You know? Anyway. But the thing is, I am finally getting to see parts of the game alive, you know? And honestly, it is interesting. It is quite interesting. I hope you guys enjoy the Paleolithic period, you know? Because that's how the game both looks, feels, and, well, plays. Because the game is about ancient periods, I suppose. Oh, growth. I think growth would be nice, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. After that releases, I'll probably be making some update for Role of Hex. It's been a while, isn't it? Yeah, I might update this game. You know, I also need to go back to posting stuff on social media. That's something that I haven't done in a while. That's actually a very big blind spot for me. Which is, I am not very good at keeping social media presence. And that's if we are taking, like... If we are taking our... my wallet into consideration, that's the most important thing. You know? I know, my wallet is not the #1 priority, nor for me, or for you. But sometimes we gotta do some things, like, for our wallet, right? So anyway, because we gotta eat, somehow. Anyway, so, what are we... What is the game about? How does it feel, right? Well, what does it do? Well, I am dying, so let's... so let's not die first, right? Not dying is good. So, I don't have any... Yeah, I think this one is the best, yeah. I don't have plans on losing that many buildings, and I don't have any active abilities. Also, I think the UI is a little bit big right now. I might change that, like... Is that a way to reduce the UI scale? I don't think so, yeah. No mind. Let's add that to the longer list of things that I need to do. Eventually. Anyway, going back to my plans with that game. The game is a game about crafting and progressing to tech trees. And it is also a game where we... Ouch. Video game. Chill for a second. I'll probably survive this, but still. Also, icons for stuff that I don't really have, not cool. Anyway. Yeah, now the big danger wave has receded a little bit. Let's scan that area. Sadly, scan does make the enemies a little bit angry. That's fine. I don't think we're dying within the first 10 minutes. You know. Anyway. The other game is a game about... Well, it is an incremental game. So, you know, it is a game that ends. Which is something that... Well, I don't feel all that comfortable doing, but... This is what it is, right? You can, like, play through it, I suppose. And it is a game with a quote-unquote distinct history to it. Not story, but history, you know? In the sense that, well, there will be very many technology trees inside of it. Like, technology trees on technology trees, you know? Like, for now, I do have planned the napping technology tree, and the ceramics technology tree, and the hunting technology tree. So there is at least 3 of them. 3 trees. You know? And you will basically have to invest in different places. You know, eventually unlock agriculture, and eventually unlock metalworking, and all of those stuff, you know? That's basically it. That's the whole premise of the game, that you go through the human progression, you know? And one very fun thing about history is that, especially in this early progression, things were invented and reinvented all the time back then, because we didn't have the ways of communicating, and we didn't have the ways of... So basically, if someone in Japan figures out that grinding stone is good, there is no way someone else in Africa would know that, or in America would know that, you know? So things were reinvented a lot of times. And that is very interesting, because the order is not always the same, like... There were some tribes in Africa, for instance, that got iron working before, like, getting to bronze, you know? And there were some places here and there that got copper working very early, too. you know? So it is all interesting in that regard, because the fact that you can somewhat go for something before the other thing, even though it is not the optimal, not optimal, I wouldn't say optimal, but the most accurate, I suppose, because, well, we did took a lot to learn ceramics, you know, and yeah, in my game you will be able to learn ceramics way before, like, late Paleolithic, I suppose, like way before finishing your napping at Act 3, I suppose, you know. So you can rush things to, well, progress skip. Not actually progress skip, because, yeah. And also, well, napping is very interesting. I hope some of you guys will have the same appreciation as I do for napping. Because, yeah, it is a very intricate process. I would say that much. Like, it's not just banging stones. You eventually need to get tools in order to properly bang the stones in a way that, well, you remove the appropriate amount of stone or the appropriate chunk of stone. Anyway, I will try to represent that the best I can while also making it a gamified experience, you know? So yeah, there's that. I think we got time for another video, Yeah, we got plenty of time. That's another thing that I like about Role of Hex as a game to talk about. Usually we can fit 1 or 2 missions in there, you know, and that's pretty nice. We are not all that strong right now, you know, but we got behemoths. We got integrity increases, and our barrier increased as well. So let's equip our behemoth. Let's keep going for, yeah, survive for 10 minutes and 30 seconds, I suppose. We can get that. That would be great. So now that we got behemoths, things will be a little bit easier on our life. I should not have done that. I may die because of my questionable decision. I may not, but I may die. Yeah, you can hear some firework, probably. That's because, well, today was an important day to some football people, I suppose. I don't know, I'm not a football person. You know, I do not know anything about that, but I am in Brazil. Therefore, football-related dates very much do affect me. Like, I live in a city where, like, about once a week, there is a football game that basically makes driving around very difficult. You know? I am very weak right now. I would like to have another cannon, but I don't have the money for that. Please, cannon, murder that a little bit quicker so that I can build more of you. Please, credits, come by a little bit quicker so I can build more stuff, really. Yeah, sure, let's get that. Anyway, so there's that. The whole Paleolithic adventure. I still don't have the name for it. If anyone has a creative name, you know, I am not a very creative person, you know. Yeah, while I do make games for 11, I'm not a creative person at all. So yeah, and I built the wrong thing there. I wanted a thing that shoots. Forgot its name. Cannon. There we go. Anyway, our current attack speed exists, which is better than nothing, I suppose. Anyway, also I want one another thing that I wanted portrayed into the Paleolithic game is the whole nomad aspect of existing. You know, like I some resources. Like first of all, there is a map, great, but you will not be able to move all that much, as well, very likely, very like Role of Hex in that sense that a position is not something that you can change all that easily. You can change it, you know, in Role of Hex, I mean, but in the Paleolithic game, yeah, you will also be able to change it, and you will probably need to, because many resources, such as things to hunt, and many biological resources, really, you know, usually mineral resources are not scarce, you know, but biological. Oh, sure, I kind of like this. Every upgrade, there is a chance of getting 2 of them. I think I get more than 1 upgrade per minute, so that might be worth it. Over the Jack of all trades, I mean. Anyway. Going back. Oh yeah, about mobility and nomadity. Am I pronouncing the word right? I don't know. There are challenges there, because some resources, like I want some resources to be expended. Not expended, but depleted. Also not depleted, but temporarily depleted, you know, in a region, as you, well, gather them or hunt them. Hunt will be the #1 priority like that, because, well, if I were a deer, I would probably stay away of that village full of hunters, you know, or gatherers. That village full of potential carnivores, you know, because while humans are omnivores, yeah, they won't say no to a deer, to some deer meat, especially when, well, food was somewhat scarce back then. So yeah, if what I'm saying is, if I were a deer, I would stay very far away from that group of humans that decided to settle on the hill over there, right? And because of that, I believe, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I believe that especially animal resources will be depleted the fastest, you know? Like, most resources will be depletable, but some of them will be depleted faster than others. Might lose here. What's going on? Yeah, that might save us, because the explosions from the buildings might be what we need, right? So we got an extra there, I think. So, even though we have suffered a big hit there, I think we can recover nicely. We got 2 behemoths, you know, going on. And yeah. Anyway, I have then spent 2 weeks on making a map. Not a map, but a procedural generation algorithm, you know, that will be able to, well, have those kinds of things. Like, we'll be able to handle those kinds of things, is what I'm trying to say, you know. And it's been some very interesting 2 weeks, I might add, you know. Because, well, I have learned a lot about all kinds of things, really, because in order to determine... So let's go from my weird route that I got in terms of... forgot the name of it. In terms of map creation, right? First of all, I wanted a map that would be able to, well, have the rock types, which honestly was the quote-unquote easier part, you know? Some different rock types, because rock types are important to netplay. And I wanted my map to also have some info on what's the name of it? Oh yeah, fauna. But in order to have some relevant info on fauna, which is basically animals, how many animals are there, you know, I could just slap up early noise and be done with it, but I didn't want to do that, right? I kinda needed to extrapolate biomes, you know, from the map I had. And by then I only had like altitude. A very simple map, you know? A very simple height map. But then I simply, not simply, I figure out that in order for me to get the biome, I would need to figure out the weather, right? And down into the habit hole of weather I went. And honestly ended up pretty fun, you know, to create the map, and the map became something very interesting. I wish I had some way of showing it to you guys. I am very bad at making videos in general, so I wouldn't know how to configure OBS to show it right here. But perhaps I can give you a few links in the description. What about that? Oh, better yet, I'll make a YouTube post soon-ish with the map. Yeah, with what came from the map, right? That would be good enough. God, I sound like a very incompetent person, perhaps because I am, you know? But anyway, going back to... so we have a map. Great. Now, that map will require me to... yeah. Basically, I will need to consult the map, you know, when doing gathering things. Eventually, the player will be able to move around. That is part of my thing, and there will be logistical radiuses for your settlement, you know. The logistical radius is a radius where your settlement collects stuff, you know, and what's within your logistical radius is what determines the things. And I want you to be able to have an impact on the map, you know. So there is that. Anyway, the game is very early in its Paleolithic state, I would say. You know, it is still banging stones. But we do have something, you know. I do have something, which is nice. It's being a few... like, it's being a few... oh. Yeah, sure. Honestly, I don't like how many frenzy icons has popping up here. You know. Yeah, I should add a cooldown too with that. Yeah, eventually I will go back to updating Role of Hex, by the way. You know, 1.5 will certainly come. I have very interesting ideas and very interesting small fixes too, like, really? Do we really need... do we really need the constant this, whatever that's going on? You know? And also, I want to have some unlockable upgrades. I think that those are pretty neat. So let's leave the planet and let's go for a third and a final mission here. Let's annihilate some leaf spheres. Why does that seem like way too easy? Is it way too easy? Anyway, I don't have any idea. Let's figure that out. Because, well, I have been annihilating leaf spheres for a time, really. You know? Yeah, I've lowered my attack speed to increase my damage. I don't know if that was the best idea. Anyway, I do have some ideas for Role of Hex, I cannot not have them, you know, they haunt my dreams. And honestly, like, that's the thing about human brains, I think. Are we able to, like, not have yet any ideas about something that we are, like, interacting with in any sort of capacity? Like, every game I play, I keep thinking about what I would change in that game to make my experience a little bit better. You know, and not always in terms of balance, sometimes just in terms of... yeah, I don't know... quality of life, or... you know... I cannot help but think. That's something. I think that all human beings are like that, right? Or am I the only one insane? That might be the case, you know. But nah, I think that human beings are basically... when we enjoy something, we think about how to enhance it, right? And that applies to everything. Like... I never had an experience in my life that I got like, this is the perfect experience, there is nothing I would change about it, you know? That is... I don't think that would ever happen, really. Because, well... everything can be perfected. You know, and... if everything can be perfected, why something shouldn't, right? And even though I am not necessarily the one doing the perfecting, you know? Yeah, this game is nice. I feel a little bit sadistic. I want to work on it again, you know? Oh. Misclicked at this point. But honestly, when I was working on this, I got... yeah, that was easy. I will extend it. I basically got so over-fixated with performance, which, yeah, it is a big problem of this game. And I have some ideas on how to fix it. You know? How to enhance it, I suppose. But I got so over-fixated with performance. Yeah, that number is wrong. You know? That number is straight up wrong. The number which showed up. But that's alright, we will be able to extend the bunch. Extend the mission a bunch. And extending the mission incurs more rewards. You know? More rewards incurs faster progression for the game. You know. So yeah, sure, growth. Anyway, yeah, there is that. There is that whole Paleolithic game that is going on. And eventually something will emerge out of it, I hope. You know? And then I will come back to work on Role of Hex some more. Because honestly, this game cannot... I cannot stay away from it for very long. You know? That is a thing about Role of Hex. I always come back to it. It is the very first game I have ever messed with. Like, oh no, let's just make a game. Okay, and then I came and made Role of Hex. And then I just come back to it every now and then to, well, It is my safety bubble, I suppose. Oh, nuke. Let's go. Yeah, some things that really lag this game are related to chunk and rendering, to be honest. And I think I have learned a lot over the years. Especially since working on some last projects which didn't come to fruition. But they did teach me a lot, you know? And because of that, I believe I am very much more able to have a way faster rendering everything, really. You know? Because, yeah, currently the most lag-inducing thing is rendering. And perhaps chunk generation. You know, chunk rendering, which is also rendering. You know, and I believe nowadays I can do both of them extremely faster. Like, it is not even close. Because I've learned so many things. You know? And those sideways ads, I never got to fix them. They are a result from a division by zero that happens when the ants are walking perfectly vertically. Not only ants, everything, really. I might get into a situation where I cannot... Oh, never mind. I will not get into a situation where it's impossible to win the game, because... That's how many levels? 6 levels of damage increase and attack speed. Let's keep going. You know? Let's just keep going. And just get of an enormous amount of attack speed increase and damage increase. You know, something that I will certainly redo in Role of Hex, and I have redone that over and over again, is the meta progression system. Yeah, I currently don't like it at all. You know, I like the whole mission system, where you choose your objective, you know, but I really don't like how the current meta progression system works. You know, I think I made it too complicated, and by making it too complicated, even for me, you know, I made it very hard to balance. Like... And I could have oversimplified stuff a lot, you know? And I like this whole thing, where, like, you can play at any speed you like, you can basically rush through missions, but if you want to take more time in order to meta progress a little bit, you will have an easier time progressing later, you know? Also to experiment with it, with stuff. But I want my meta progression to tackle a little bit more the upgrade side of things, instead of the number side of things, you know? I want you to be able to unlock more upgrades, and like... Oh, that within the meta progression, you know? I think that's good. That would be nice. Also, the ways I handle the wake-up calls from these guys, I don't think it is a very big issue in terms of performance right now. It could. The thing about performance in Role of Hex is that I am always in a tough spot. You know, because I eliminate a bottleneck, and then the game scales. Yeah. And I could try to hold the scaling of the game. That would be a way of fixing, quote-unquote, performance, but that isn't fixing performance. That is just, like, putting a problem on the game, like putting a nail to the game in order for you to not be able to go into the fun regions. You know? The fun part begins when you start to break the game, right? At least I find it that way. Yeah, I kind of enjoy the difficulty system of the game. I find it, the missions and all of them, you know. I'll probably change a little bit how value drifts work too. Anyway, yeah, as I said, I can enjoy an experience. I need to always think how I would make it better. That's a part of life, isn't it? Yeah. Let's nuke those fellas. Honestly, nukes. I really like nukes. I think they're pretty neat. This guy is strong. But more options, though. Anyway. I'll finish this mission when the next... Well, when it finished, so again. You know, I think I have enough rambling for the day, you know. But anyway, what is this? Oh yeah, let's get the resonance. I won't be upgrading an active thing once again. I don't think that's worth it, really. So, soon enough, I don't know how soon, but I believe in a few weeks I might have some content on the Paleolithic video. Oh no, on the Paleolithic video game, you know, that I might want to show you, you know. Probably somewhere in January. Perhaps late January, I don't know. You know, I still need to set up a Steam page so you can probably click something, you know. I have not done that yet. And I know I should do those as soon as possible. But at the same time, there is a $100 fee that I need to pay in order to set up of something like that. And, well, for some of you, $100 might not be all that much. But for me right now, yeah, it is a little bit expensive, you know. So yeah, there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It came off a little bit too rambly, not gonna lie. I got blasted by that nostalgia thing, which happens when I play Role of Hex. You know, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that regardless. I hope to see you guys next time, I suppose.